Hello. Today I'll be talking about woodworking and how it's deeply rooted in Japanese religion and philosophy. There is an awareness of nature, especially trees, which is the foundation of the belief system that dates back centuries before the Common Era. Shinto has an animist worldview, which believes that spirits are part of all things. Many trees, especially large or unusually shaped ones, are considered sacred and are seen as places where these spirits reside. Among these, there are sacred trees that have special meaning and are of even higher importance. These trees that are seen as sacred are called shiboku. Some of these sacred trees are used to surround shrines as a fence to keep the place sacred. One type of tree that is thought of as spiritually sacred is a sakaki, a flowering evergreen. Because it is evergreen, it is thought to represent immortality. When sacred trees are grown, they also have a chance to become misagi, the wood used for Buddhist sculptures. It is a Buddhist priest or Shinto priest who selects the tree and designates it as being misagi. Ceremonies and rituals are often part of the creation of wood sculptures and structures. Craftsmen often find the wood first and then choose a project that can be accomplished from that specific piece of wood. For example, a wood with a prominent grain, like this pine, would be used for a piece with a bare wood surface where you'd be able to see the grain. But then wood with a less prominent grain, like this maple, would be used for carvings where the form is more important than the grain itself. Wood grain is important for craftsmen, but it also has connection with Japanese history. For example, Japanese Genpei Zai cedar was named not after the location, but after the Genpei War. Two warring clans, the Minamoto and the Taira, had their banners colored white and red respectively. The white sapwood and the red heartwood was named accordingly. Traditional Japanese woodworking practices have passed the test of time. These traditions live on in many ways. One way is through George Nakashima, the grandson of a samurai warrior, but born in the United States. He was one of the more modern practitioners of Japanese woodworking. He saw his skill as a kind of spiritual occupation that transformed the beauty of a tree into functional art. He was acknowledged by the Japanese government as the carrier of a sacred secret. In an interview, Nakashima said, "There is a spirit in trees that is very deep, and in order to produce a fine piece of furniture, the spirit of the tree lives on, and I can give it a second life." As George passed away in 1990, his studio has been passed on to his daughter, Mira Nakashima. She continues to make furniture as her father did before her. Another well-known example of how Japanese woodworking traditions have been passed on to the next generation is the elaborate recreation of the Ise Shrine, as we all know. The woodworking techniques can be renewed and passed on with each rebuilding, honoring the past while acknowledging the future. Japanese woodworking has a spiritual connection with the natural world. Craftsmen in their practice acknowledge trees as a source of work and respect their previous lives. From the beginning of Shinto to modern times, craftsmen have respected and followed the traditional idea that wood is a living and sacred material.